Hello everyone. Today I am here to describe you some data science projects that we have been given in Let's Grow More internship. So starting from some basic concepts of data science, let's start with what is KNN, how does KNN work, how do we choose the factor K and when to use KNN. Let's read about what is NumPy library. NumPy stands for Numerical Python. It is a Python library used for working with arrays. It also has functions for working in domain of linear algebra, Fourier transform and matrices. NumPy was created in 2005 by Travis Oliphant. It is an open source project and you can use it freely. NumPy aims to provide an array object that is up to 50 times faster than traditional Python lists. Why is NumPy faster than lists? NumPy arrays are stored at one continuous place in memory, unlike lists, so processes can access and manipulate them very efficiently. This behavior is called locality of reference in computer science. Which language is NumPy written in? Let me tell you. NumPy is a Python library and it is written partially in Python, but most of the parts that require fast computation are written in C or C++. To know more about Python code base, go and search the GitHub repository of NumPy. Now what is Pandas? Pandas is basically a Python library used for working with datasets. It has various functionalities for analyzing, cleaning, exploring and manipulating data. The name Pandas has a reference to both panel data as well as Python data analysis and was created by Wes McKinney in 2008. Now why do we use Pandas in our projects? Because it allows us to analyze big data and make conclusions based on statistical theories, and it is used to clean messy data sets and make them readable and relevant. Now let's come to KNN. KNN is basically supervised machine learning for regression and classification. In data science, K-nearest neighbors, also known as KNN, is used to classify a data point based on how its neighbors are classified. What it does is, it simply learns from data sets and classifies new data points based on similarity or so-called nearest neighbors. To identify the nearest neighbors, KNN calculates Euclidean distance. It is the distance between two points in Euclidean space, and it is the length of a line segment between 2 points. It can be calculated from the Cartesian coordinates of the points using Pythagorean theorem, therefore occasionally being called the Pythagorean distance as well. That there is a basic formula for calculating the Euclidean distance, like under root x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Now when to use KNN? Its pros and cons. For supervised learning like classification and regression with labeled dataset, KNN can be used for small datasets because computation of Euclidean distance is slow for large dataset with a lot of variables. It's slow training as it doesn't actually learn from the trained datasets. Instead, it uses for training data itself for the purpose of classification of unknown data. For this purpose, we also use Keras dataset and Keras MNIST dataset. Keras datasets module provide a few toy datasets already vectorized in NumPy format. The black and white images from NIST were normalized to fit into a 28 by 28 pixel bounding box and anti-aliased, which introduced grayscale levels. The MNIST database contains 60,000 training images and 10,000 testing images. It is a large database of handwritten digits that is commonly used for training various image processing systems. It was created by remixing the samples from NIST's original data sets. Now coming to my projects that I have made in Let's Grow More internship program is the Health Attack Possibility project. In it, I have used a database that consists of 76 attributes, but all published experiments refer to using a subset of 14 of them. In particular, the Cleveland database is the only one that has been used by ML researchers to this date. And to know more about healthcare dataset, check out the link from UCI. Then comes the Iris Flowers Classification ML project, which was the task 1 of our internship program. In this, we have done the predicting of various features of the flower like sepal length and width, petal length and petal width of the 3 different flowers, Setosa, Virginica and Versicolor. The dataset used is particularly based on the supervised ML algorithms, mainly how to load and handle data. Although since it is a small dataset, it can easily fit in memory without requiring special transformations or scaling capabilities. Then comes the stock market prediction using decision tree regression model in sklearn and linear regression model. We have been told to implement this using LSTM model. Dataset used to build the stock price prediction model is the NSE Data Global Dataset. This is a dataset of data beverages from Tata Global Beverages. Then comes the GAN for generating handwritten digits. Generative Adversarial Network is a type of constructed neural network technology that offers a wide range of applications in the world of artificial intelligence. Generative Adversarial Network or GANs are a deep learning based generative model. More generally, GANs are model architecture for training a generative model, and it is most common to use deep learning models in this architecture. Coming to fashion accessories prediction model using convolutional neural network. In this, I have basically imported dataset from tf.keras.datasets.fashion_MNIST as it was predefined in the Keras library. It gradually loads the fashion MNIST dataset that consists of 60,000 grayscale images in 28 by 28 format, and it has 10 fashion categories. This dataset can be used as drop-in replacement for MNIST. It has various classes having description of like t-shirt, trouser, pullover, etc. And to know more about the API references and built-in small datasets, please do visit https://keras.io/API datasets. Again, I have built a model VGG19 Cypher 100 that is used for feature extraction and fine-tuning. This model is a Keras application basically of deep learning models that are made available alongside pre-trained weights. These models can be used for prediction, feature extraction and fine-tuning. Upon instantiation, the models will be built according to the image data format in your Keras configuration file, and for instance, we can have set image data format equals channel class. Then any model loaded from this repository will get built according to the TensorFlow data format convention, height, width and depth. And then comes the most illustrative project, that is image to pencil sketch with Python, in which I have read the image in RGB format and then converted it into a grayscale image. This will turn an image into a classic black and white photo. Then the next thing to do is invert the grayscale image, also called negative image. This will be inverted grayscale image, and then inversion can be used to enhance details and perfection in the image. We can do this by dividing the grayscale image by the inverted blurry image. Since the images are just arrays, we can easily do this programmatically using divide function from the CV2 library in Python. I am calling it absolutely beginner friendly project that can be made using OpenCV, Python and Matplotlib library for visualization of the image transformation. Now let's start looking into the project right away. This is the Iris Flower Data Analysis project of Let's Grow More internship, in which I have imported the libraries like NumPy, Matplotlib, and imported dataset from sklearn library, imported the dataset into a variable, and then we can see the description of it as I have printed. You can see here that all the three flowers are linearly separable, and it can be easily seen in the graph, because after that step we would be at standardizing data using standard scalar function to predict the data that we need to split the data into train and target. And then we came up with a logistic regression model used to classify 3 flowers, and we are training the model in this line. And after that we're checking accuracy of the test data there, that came to be 97% accurate on the score. Here we come up with the iris data classification using k-nearest neighbor. The data set in this is taken from the UCI. It is a classic data set in machine learning and statistics. It includes scikit-learn, the dataset module, and we can load it by calling the load iris function and import it from the device in CSV format after downloading from UCI machine learning repository. Similarly, I have imported load iris from sklearn datasets. The iris object that is returned by load iris is a bunch object which is very similar to a dictionary. It contains keys and values that you can see here. Then we print the description of the data set and analyze the data set, what actually it has. Check out the shape of the data set. It is 150 by 4. That means 150 rows and 4 columns. And then we will be training the ML model and testing data set. The part of the data that is used to build a machine learning model is called training set, and the rest of the data will be used to access how well the model works and is called a test data, test set or hold out set. The output of the train test split function are xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest, which are all NumPy arrays. Xtrain contains 75% of the rows of the dataset and xtest contains the remaining 25%. Here we can see the shape of the trained model and the shape as well. Now using k-nearest neighbor for classification, we would be importing NumPy, and then after prediction we could access the model having again the accuracy test score of 97%. Here comes exploratory data analysis on terrorism. Here we import important libraries like math, warnings, NumPy, pandas, Seaborn, Plotly offline, etc. And as I'm using Colab notebook, so to import from the drive, we use the syntax from google.colab import drive, and then we will mount it to the notebook. And then I'm importing our data and checking the basics, like the encoding was not the same as the data provided, so I have to change the encoding as well while importing, and then we will print the first 5 elements in the table of the data set. Here we could see the various columns. I'm renaming it, and then I'm checking the null values in the data using isNull function and then summing it up. Then we check the information of the data set, what it actually has. Here I printed the destructive feature of data like country with the most attacks, city with the most attacks, region, year with the most attacks, and the most attack types, like what actually was the attack, whether it was bomb blasting or murder or any conspiracy. Then from word cloud we're importing word cloud. From SkyPy I'm importing Signal. Here we have the data visualization of the terror data set. Like you can see that the number of attacks each year was 2,000 in 1970, 4,000 in 1971, 1972 it has 6,000 number of attacks, and thereby we could see the graph increasing mostly in 2014, having the highest number of attacks, 16,000 above. Now coming to terrorist activities by region in each year through area plot, I have used cross tab here and then plotted with title, ylabel and show function. Then I have sorted the values by top 40 worst terror attacks to keep the heat map simple and easy to visualize. Here it is, and then we could see the top countries affected by terror attacks is Iraq basically, and it has more than 10 attacks. Then we analyze the customized data based on the terrorist attacks of a particular area and the locations. For that purpose we import Folium, and then from folium.plugins we import market cluster. Then we filter the data and we are getting the required fields, top NaN values in latitude and longitude. And now we can observe that in above map 84% of the terrorist attacks in 1970 were carried out on American continent. In 1970, the Middle East and North Africa, currently the center of wars and terrorist attacks, faced only one terrorist attack. And so we can observe that the total of people killed in terror attack is 12,795. And looking upon the types of attacks, these deaths were made of certain regions like hijacking, unarmed assault, and bombing explosion, and hostage taking like kidnapping. And here I've printed the attack type, a number of armed assaults, number of bombing, number of hijacking, etc. And finally comes the convert line to list graph. Here you can see that the most armed assault having percentage of 26.46% in all the areas have caused destruction. Number of killed in terrorist attacks by country. This is a project based on fashion accessories prediction model using convolutional neural network. What I've done here is basically I've used neural networks for machine learning and CNN to check out the fake images, and I have imported TensorFlow, NumPy, Seaborn, and also from TensorFlow I've imported image data generator so that we can see the data set. And after training and testing the model, the final conclusion. Another project generative adversarial network for generating handwritten digits. In this also we imported some libraries like TensorFlow, NumPy and Matplotlib.pyplot, and then preparing the data for training the model. I have printed a few images from the data set and then creating the generator, discriminator, and then combining generator and discriminator to form the generative adversarial network. Function for training, and then generating an image. Here is another project called heart attack prediction using k-nearest neighbors. Here I have used the dataset from Kaggle and I have loaded it into my notebook. The dataset consists of 76 attributes, and it regarding the chest pain tab has 4 values: resting blood pressure, serum cholesterol, the slope of the peak exercise ST segment, and number of major vessels like 0 to 3 colored by fluoroscopy, etc. Dataset is taken for learning purpose. So for that, to check the number of heart attacks, I have imported NumPy, Panda, Seaborn, and then explored the data, printing with df.head, and described like the age, sex, cholesterol, LPS present in the data set, and then performed the EDA. This is the heat map that denotes the age, the sex of the human being that has suffered from heart attack at various ages. And then we're training the model. I've used k-neighbors classifier for the sake of training it, and the accuracy came out to be 89%. And now I'm predicting the model. And for classification I have used SVM. Here comes another project, that is image to pencil sketch with Python. I have used Collaboratory for making this project. I have imported OpenCV, which is the only library needed for the project. For visualizations, I have used Matplotlib library, and the method goes like: we need to read the image in RGB format and then convert it to a grayscale image. This will turn an image into a classic black and white photo. The next thing to do is invert the grayscale image, also called negative image. This will be our inverted grayscale image. Inversion can be used to enhance details. Then finally we can create the pencil sketch by mixing the grayscale image with the inverted blurry image. This can be done by dividing the grayscale image by inverted blurry image. Since images are just arrays, we can easily do this programmatically using the divide function from the CV2 library in Python. I've imported CV2, matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, and then read the image and stored it into IMG variable. You can see I have displayed the image using CV2 image using Matplotlib, And we can observe that the image displayed using Matplotlib is not consistent with the original image. This is because OpenCV uses BGR color scheme, whereas Matplotlib uses RGB color scheme. And we can convert BGR image to RGB by using any of the following methods. For transforming the photo into pencil sketch, we need to convert it into gray image, invert the image, make it blur, and again invert the blurred image, sketch the image and save it into a variable named as sketch_image, and then display it using OpenCV. You can see how the image has converted into a sketch. Now let's compare the original image versus sketch, which you can see here. And then we have created our own sketch function and displayed it. Here comes another project, that is stock market prediction and forecasting using stacked LSTM. In this we collect the stock data, NSE data global, pre-process the data, create and stacked LSTM model, predict the test data and plot the output. For that we import the pandas library, pandas data reader, load the data from drive or from the device itself, store the data into a data frame, print the data frame, and then from scalar.preprocessing we import min-max scalar, saving it to the scalar variable and then printing df1, training the size of the data we have, and then comes the train data. Then we are converting an array of values into a dataset matrix. For that we are reshaping into x equals to t, t plus 1, t plus 2, t plus 3 and y equals t plus 4. And because reshaping has input of stamp steps features which is required for LSTM, so we are creating the stacked LSTM model in this way. Then we are fitting the trained data sets into the model. Here we have the TF version 2.6.0, and let's do the prediction and check performance metrics. For that we transform back to original form, then calculate RMSE performance metrics, that is 160.50, and test data RMSE using square root function, and then we did the prediction, wherein the gray indicates the predicted data, blue indicates complete data, or indicates the trained data. We have done this using shifting the trained predictions for plotting, and then we have plotted the baseline and predictions using scalar, that inverse transform. Here is stock prediction using linear regression and decision tree. Here also we can see that the data set comprises of the open, loop, rows, prices and volume indicators, same as that. The only difference is here we are using decision tree, and decision tree in machine learning is basically to predict stock movements. A decision tree algorithm performs a set of recursive actions basically before it arrives at the end result, and when you plot these actions on a screen, the visual looks like a big tree, hence named as decision tree. In practical approaches of supervised learning, it can be used to solve both regression and classification tasks. That's why it is a tree structured classifier with 3 types of nodes. Decision tree builds both the types of models and in the form of a tree structure. That's why it breaks down a data set into smaller and smaller subsets, while at the same time an associated decision tree is incrementally developed. So we can handle both categorical and numerical data using decision tree. Then we'll get the number of trading days using data frame.shape. Visualize the closer price of data. Get the close price of the top 5 elements. Create a variable to predict X days out into the future and create a new column named target shifted X units days. Here we go. Creating the target data set and converting it to a NumPy array and getting all the target values except the last row. We're creating the decision tree regressal model and showing the model tree prediction, regression, prediction, etc. and visualizing the data using regression decision tree. It takes ordered values with continuous values. Thus, you can see the major fluctuation. And this one is using decision tree regression model and this one is using linear regression model.
Well, my grandpa still remembers when that pole went in the ground. That was the day they strung together everything.
Here comes another VGG19 model using Cypher 100. In this we have imported libraries like NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, TensorFlow and TensorFlow.keras.layers, imported dense, flatten, con2d, max pooling 2d, dropout, batch normalization. Then we're extracting data and training the test data set. Here we can look into the data set images and validating and splitting trained and tested data set goes like this. Then we're printing the trained data set shape as well as value and test data set shape. By using image data generator, we are pre-processing our data and we come to a conclusion that we have only used 16 layers out of 90 layers in CNN. This is how we visualize the graphs and the accuracy level of training data set and validation. Also, we can see the losses that we have faced. The green represents the training loss and the red represents the validation loss. And the metrics came out with the testing accuracy of 85%. Then we have imported ITER tools and defined a function. This function basically prints and plots the confusion matrix. Normalization can be applied by setting normalize. And now we can see the truth table, label and the predicted label.